see you as always. It's something that it's not a new question for me, but always revisiting it, especially with this really important away stretch for you guys. Clearly, you're capable of getting big results on the road. We saw that in Montreal, but balancing out some of the home form and the away form, what are some of the tweaks that need to be made by the players to get back to that level you want to be at?
Yeah, I think concentration. That's the biggest thing, and we've made a big effort to have a lot more of that at home, where we deal with different looks from opponents, and I think sometimes in some of these matches away, we've been a little complacent in situations in the game, and that's not who we need to be if we want to be at the top of the table and keep on doing well. So I think it's maximum concentration in these matches. I think that's the most important thing. You always find something different where you play, and each stadium has something different about it, atmosphere from fans, and all of these things. So it's something we talk about. It's something we've been talking about within the group, and we need to see that turn because we need some more positive results on the road. Obviously, we're happy with what we're doing at home. In comparison to last year, but you need some of these games on the road to translate into 3 points.
And as you reminded us recently, you're not one for standings, and I know it's our job in the media to sort of look at them and come up with the stories, and I know Steve Milton just put up a piece on the Forge site about the treble, which I'm sure you're thinking, well, maybe one day at a time, but what is it about this group that makes that word that's so illustrious in this sport even possible?
Yeah, I think it's our willingness and desire to compete. That's the most important thing. And when you create a tradition of trophies, it becomes contagious. As you always want it. The tough thing, and you probably know that, Adam, it's attaining those goals. That only comes through hard work. Words are one thing. Talking about different situations, of course, that's for you guys to do, and rightfully so. But for us, it's the most important thing you have in front of you is 3 points in Vancouver, and the rest is pointless. That's how I go about it, and you probably see me on the sidelines how much I celebrate a goal and sometimes a championship, because then you're off to the next thing. There's always something, and that's the way I try and get my point across to the players. It's we keep on setting the bar as a club. That means we have to reach and surpass that bar. And that's a massive challenge each and every day, because you can't really take time off. And when you do, in this league, anybody beats anyone. That's the truth, because we all play at the same level. And what I mean from that is we all have the same roster cap. We all have the same salary cap. We all have the same abilities. We're not the Premier League where one team can outspend the other one. So everyone's on an even playing field. So you have to be the best version of yourself each and every day. And the only way to do that is just look ahead to what you have. And what we have is Vancouver. And the rest is a story. And when you get there, it's you'll deal with that chapter once it's in front of you.
And then just lastly for me, any updates on Chris or other availability? Obviously, Gus is a great pair of hands, but...
Yeah, Chris was in training today. It's a decision we got to make tomorrow. We train tomorrow before we travel. Yeah, but the rest of the squad is looking good. Everyone's healthier and more match fit, including Taron Campbell, Benny Baribanga. So it's great to have all these guys ready and prepared to go. And we just need to make sure that all these guys, including Taron, who is a very important player to our club, is in the right physical state to start getting increased minutes in the games.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Adam. Next question goes over to Alex. Go ahead, Alex.
Awesome. Thanks, Nico. Bobby, good to see you. Vancouver always a challenging one, especially on the road. What do you kind of make of this Vancouver side? They've obviously got a bit of a rough stretch lately, but picked up a big derby win, so that's obviously always a big emotional lift for any team.
Yeah, I think they're a well-organized team. When they stick to a game plan, a lot of times against us, they do that. A lot of times forming a lower block and waiting for good moments in counterattacks, and they do that very well, and they've done that very well against us. If we look at the two games we've played against them this year, we've had the run of the ball, run of the plays, the big chances, but in both of those matches, they're up and ahead in the score. So that means that they've really bought into a certain way. Sometimes playing against us Forge, each game is different, but I think that's what they do very well. I think when they're playing us, like I say with a lot of teams, it's a little bit of a higher standard in what we see, and we've got to be prepared for that in this game. And both games this year, I think they've been excellent with us in closing down spaces and doing different things on the pitch and taking their opportunities as they've come.
Across the pitch so far this season, you guys have dealt with injuries, and in the midfield, though, you guys have been really consistent. Alessandro in particular has been putting in some great performances. How nice, I guess, is it to see him rewarded with a big goal in midweek and in a key victory for your team, and just kind of, I guess, speak to the work that's being done in the midfield that maybe isn't seen beyond a goal like that.
Yeah, I always say, for our team, the midfield is important. It allows us to tick on both sides of the ball, both defensively and in the attack, and possession and position play. It's all important, and we pride ourselves on not only having a very good midfield group, but having a lot of them. And we've got some quality players in there. We've got a guy like Eliman Cisse who hasn't really featured in there as of yet, and soon that will come. But when you have a guy like Ali who's doing what he's done this year, it's incredible. You go through the game and you go through the film after, and you just see his movement, his decision making, how he's able to switch tempo of the game, how he's able to get us out of difficult situations and really alleviate pressure. I mean, that's what you want from a number 6. And then, off the ball, it's the work that goes unnoticed, and that's the true mark of a number 6. And I think. He's in his 6th year in this league, and he's been one of the best ones since, and he's the best one not only right now, but for the last couple of years. And beyond that, he's a winner. He's proven that the last 3 years.
Just last one, if I may, Bobby. Of course, Quincy didn't play in midweek, and you mentioned there's some interest swirling around him. Is he going to be able to return to the lineup this weekend, or are you guys just still working behind the scenes with him?
Yeah, with Quincy, it's only normal. This is a player who's a young player who's had an excellent, not only this season, but an excellent path in development in what he's been doing. And you look at his work on the field this year, and it's only normal that there's going to be interest from a number of clubs in global football, and that's the beauty of our game. And we'll see where things land in the next couple of days.
Awesome, thanks, Bobby.
Any other questions in the room?
I'll just pick up on that quickly if I can, Nico. What have you learned? And I know it's a lot of work with Costa in the past and Jelani, what he does every day. But when players are you feel ready and the offers are coming in, how has maybe the club's philosophy adjusted and evolved over time with when the right time is and what is a ready player for the next step?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different things that dictate that, and sometimes that's not something that you dictate as a club. It's the player dictates for himself through his performances. We're the vehicle for that. As coaches, we try and guide players, bring them into the best situations possible, try and get the best out of them. With all of the guys in looking at two things, and that's sometimes the toughest thing you have every day in your job. It's you have to mix trying to win championships and developing players, and I've talked about that as being one of my biggest challenges in starting in this role back 5 years ago, was how I was able to blend that. And the one thing I can say we're most proud of in this club is developing players. Because there hasn't been a single player that probably came here at one level and left worse off. Players are consistently getting better, and sometimes it's easy to look at a guy like Quincy, who's a young guy who's getting better, and sometimes we'll forget about a guy who's been here for 4 years, and Garvin Metusala, who's developed through the system, or Dom Samuel, who's been here for 6 years, because he's a much different player now than he was 6 years ago, or Tristan Henry, a former goalkeeper here, who came into the league as an unknown and left here as, for me, the best keeper that's played in this league. So it's something we pride ourselves on. And then, the right moments, the beautiful thing about football is usually the market determines it. That's the great equalizer, because I say it until we get, and I always put Real Madrid at the pinnacle of football, but until we get there, there's upward movement in this game, and that's the beauty of it. And your performances as a player what you do, and that usually comes from the work that you put in every day, taking the pointers from the staff, and all of these little things that come along with it. But the market dictates it in this beautiful sport we play.